Welcome guys, welcome back to the Off-Grid Garage here, late at night from sunny hot Australia. In today's video we are going really low. We are going all the way down on our knees because I want to show you something here in the bottom battery shelf. Today I want to show you, I want to actually share my experience so far with the HELTEC Smart BMS, which we have installed here on our lower battery shelf, connected to a 16S 280 ampere hour battery. And you have seen the Smart BMS already in the previous videos a bit, but today I want to show you a bit more about this BMS they have sent me. It is the HELTEC Smart BMS 25S200A. It has a discharge current of 200 amps. It is for all kind of lithium batteries and supports Bluetooth, RS485 and also CAN bus communication. Further down here you can see our balance leads connected here, balance cables connected, no big deal. One larger connector, one smaller, you can't mix them up. Next to it we've got a communication port where our display plugs in with a 10 wire cable and also 4 single wires which are not connected at all. If you have a look on their website, it's exactly explained. 2 of them are for CAN communication and the other 2 can be used for RS485 communication. And then we've got another port here on the right, which is for our Bluetooth module, which we know already from other BMSs here. That's the standard Bluetooth module. And below that, let me see if I can. Yeah, there you can see it. Below the Bluetooth connector, it's basically on the other side of the PCB. There's another 4-port connector for 2 temperature sensors the BMS comes with. So this all plugs in to this one side here of the BMS, and it's clearly labeled. There's no confusion. You cannot mix up any of these connectors. So this is pretty good and very beginner friendly. Yeah, and here on the other side you have seen me struggling welding these cables onto the BMS. It worked out pretty good actually. You have seen the test in the last video. Also, the BMS is coming only with 4mm holes in the PCB here. So I have re-drilled them to 5mm so it fits my 8 gauge wire. And I have used only 3 of them. This is far enough current capacity here for the 200 amp. Yeah, and the whole BMS comes in this open kind of sandwich style form where the PCB is in the middle and you have these aluminium plates for cooling purposes on the top and bottom. This is what we already know from other BMSs as well, like the QUCC BMS or here the Overkill or JBD BMS. Unlike the JK-BMS, which comes in a full enclosure, which I like very much. Or here the Dali BMS, which is fully enclosed as well. Yeah. They don't have any open sides where you can see the PCB, nothing. It has the website address and also a QR code where you can download the application for your smartphone for this BMS. I like this is all engraved here in the aluminium case, so you cannot lose this information at all. It's pretty much the same as on the JK-BMS here. There's a QR code which gets you the manual and the app. In contrast to the Overkill Solar, there's no QR code. So you have to go to the website manually and download the information there. Well, unfortunately, there is no manual for this BMS available on the HELTEC BMS website. So you don't know what to expect. So if you have any questions or need any assistance or help or something, you need to contact them via their website. I'm just turning off the light here for a moment. I want to show you, we've got several LEDs here. There's one here in the Bluetooth module, a green one, and there's one flashing over there. And there's also a green LED flashing here on the display, which is synchronized with the one on the PCB itself. So you can see the display is off at the moment. If I press the button here, the display turns on and we can see like a charge gauge, state of charge. Yeah, and then it turns off after a few seconds again. That's a bit annoying. So it claims we have got a 25% state of charge, 52.8 volts and 0.6 amps before it turns off again. Keep pressing the button here. See, now it's completely off. There is the Bluetooth is still on, but there's no flashing light anymore, neither on the PCB nor here on the display. And if I use the app now, I cannot connect to the BMS anymore. It's completely turned off. And there's no current going in or out of the battery at the moment. Let's just put some load on the battery. But here, as you can see, there's nothing going out of the battery. So the BMS is turned off at the moment. So if you hold the power button on the display, it turns off the BMS and there's no current going from your battery into your system anymore. Okay, let's turn it back on here. Single press, and then we can see 4.3 amps. The flashing LED on the PCB tells you the actual BMS is active. So short press activates the display, long press turns off the whole BMS and also turns off your battery. I have also noticed that the display light sometimes stays on for hours, and then I come back into the garage and then it's off again. So I'm not sure why it is staying on sometimes, and sometimes it just turns off after a few seconds. So there's a bit of inconsistency in the how this all works here. Now it turns off, say, after a few seconds, but sometimes it just stays on for no particular reason. I just want to quickly show you the QR code scanner. So if you scan the code, then you click on the open website, and there you go. It brings you directly to the website where you can download the BMS app for your Android phone. I'm not sure about iOS for this device. It doesn't seem like we've got an iOS Apple support here for the BMS, but I may be wrong. Okay, so after installing, you've got this icon on your screen, and there's some countdown running on the top right. You can click on it and it goes directly into the app. And on the top left, you can see a device list. And this time it has already connected, so it remembers which BMS you are connecting to. You can click on the device list and it shows you an overview about all the Bluetooth connections in your area. And this one is the WY25ST and then 5555. It also gives you a meter range here, which I find quite interesting. The first thing I noticed was that the current is actually not negative. We are now discharging the battery, obviously, and the current is positive. When you charge the battery, the current gets negative, which I found very, very confusing, because this is the only BMS so far which does that. All the other BMSs, positive current charging, negative current discharging the battery. This is the only one which is the opposite. Yeah, you can do this, but why? We are on 25% state of charge. We are discharging at the moment. So the battery will last another 116 hours and 57 minutes. We've got a capacity of 280 ampere hours. We've got an LFP battery 16S. This is the feature I couldn't find in the settings at the beginning. These two buttons here are actually no buttons. It just tells you if charging and discharging is turned on or off, but it's not a physical button. Even it looks like a button, it is not. Second confusing thing in the app. We've got the maximum temperature, the minimum temperature it shows across all the temperature sensors, the max voltage and the min voltage of your battery cells. And here you can see all your 16 battery cells now in a row, and the colors are explained up here. So the red battery is maximum, the orange one is minimum. Balance is not on at the moment. And the VD is the voltage difference of 10 millivolt across all your battery cells. It also gives you the single battery voltages down here. And this one here was a bit confusing at the beginning as well, because I thought these are all buttons or something. No, this is just the battery state. If you click on the More button here, so basically these are the battery information, which can be green or red. I don't know exactly what the ST mode trigger is here. MOS alarm is obviously an electronic fault. Charge full is green. Empty status, I have no idea what this actually does. Over temperature, under temperature, read write state is green. I'm not super 100% sure what all this means here. As long as everything is green, I think we are good. And again, down here we have got a pre-charge status switch, which is not a switch again. Even it looks like one, it is not. It is just an information display. Weird. If you have a cell over voltage or cell under voltage, as we have seen in my previous test, accidentally, this symbol turns red and you can see what is actually going on with your battery. So this is only an error dashboard down here, which gives you more information about the status of your battery. And then we've got the temperature information here. MOS obviously is the MOSFET inside the BMS. We've got the two temperature sensors, and also we've got a balance of 30 degrees, which I don't know what that is, because you can see the room temperature inside the garage is only 22 here. But still we've got a balance of 30 degrees. No idea what that means. If someone knows anything, please let me know in the comments. Ah, yeah, I've forgotten. Here at the top, we've got several icons here. One of them is flashing for some reason. This is the Wi-Fi Bluetooth signal. Nothing happens when you click on it, but you can click on this little battery symbol here, and it gives you more battery information. For example, the power which you are discharging or charging the battery at the moment. Again, it gives you the estimated time of discharging until the battery is fully empty. And then it draws some curves here, which I have not seen happening at all. Electricity curve and a power curve down here with watts and percentage. I have not seen any graph showing up. Even if you leave this screen here for several minutes, there's nothing populating. Not sure if this actually works or not. Again, we've got a battery status, battery health, good, how many cycles, estimated capacity, a running state, discharging, and this is quite interesting. This is a learn times. I'm not sure if this is like a self-calibration counter or something. So when you hit the 280 ampere hour, it turns to 1 and say, okay, I now know what is 100% or 280 ampere hours. No information about this one, just a guess. Battery voltage, running time, battery temperature, one of the sensors, which one we don't know. And further below we have more information about the BMS, like the product type and the date of manufacturing, software version, hardware version, communication speed. Yeah, and that's it. And here at the top, again, you can click on these two bubbles here and you can share a log file with an external party if you want to. So going to the Mine tab below here, parameter settings, an app version, application upgrade. It always says it's already up to date. Complaint suggestion, I like this one actually. It sends a log file via email to HELTEC, potentially. And the privacy policy is completely in Chinese, but you can say, sure. Which makes sense, right? It makes sense. Okay, and the main thing is the parameter settings, of course. Password 8888. I have also not found a function anywhere in the app where you can actually change this password to something else. So, and here we are in the parameter settings. These are all the parameters. Hang on, I zoom out a little bit. So these are all the parameters you can change. Very, very basic. It reminded me a little bit of the DALI app. Very minimalistic, but very good for beginners. So what do we have? Very quickly. Over voltage, 3.65 volts. You can just tap in here and 3.3600, and then press this update button here on the side. Brings up this confirmation, and then after a few seconds it changes your parameters to whatever you set it to. The same for the under voltage, 2.5 volts. The over temperature alarm is 60 degrees, but again you can change this to your needs. Under temperature alarm -20, you can change this. Discharge over current alarm. So this is the maximum current you can pull out of this BMS, which is 210 amps. This is the standard default setting. It's a 200 amp BMS. The charge over current alarm sits on 100 only. And I thought this is a bit weird because it's a 200 amp BMS. I'm just browsing their website on AliExpress, and I actually found the information about the iOS version. So obviously there is an iOS version as well available for their app. But I am unable to find the specifications for this BMS here. There's a 3 to 4S feature, and there's a 9 to 25S feature, which I think I have. But there is charging, discharging. I cannot find any information, not even in this table here, about this specific BMS and what the charge and discharge currents are. Because from the parameters in the app, it seems like we can discharge with 200 amps, but we can only charge with 100 amps. Which is another weird thing I found with this BMS here, because so far all the BMSs, they could do the same amount of current charging or discharging. There was no difference. But this one, for some reason, has only a 100 amp charge current. Anyway, next parameter is the balance and voltage, enable voltage, I assume. 3.45 volts, I have set this one to. There's no accuracy, no voltage deviation difference setting at all. I'm not sure how accurate it will balance. Well, I guess we will find out. The state of charge setting is on 25%. This is what it shows right now in the app. If you want to calibrate this one, because you know the battery is not at 25, it is at 40, you can type 40 in here, click the update button, and then from there on it shows 40% to start with. I assume this is only important when you have the BMS new and you have a rough idea what the state of charge of your battery is. You can set this manually here in the app, but once you charge to 100%, it should calibrate automatically. This is the rated capacity, 280 ampere hours in our case, and our very famous PEC num 16, which sits on 25 when you get the BMS. And the Bluetooth name can only be numbers. I don't know why that is. And then we've got an overcurrent discharge 1 delay, seconds 20. No idea what that is for. I don't know. Any ideas? Leave a comment. Here you can set your battery type, normal lithium battery, LFP or LTO. And this is the lamp board type. So this basically determines what kind of device you have connected to your BMS. In our case, it is the LCD display. It looks like there's also a 5 LED board or a 4 LED board, which gives you a rough understanding of your state of charge, I assume. We've got a state charged SCD delay. I have no idea what that means. 100 microseconds, 200 and 400 microseconds. I haven't changed the setting. It was on this. And here at the bottom of your parameter settings, it gets even weirder, because these functions actually change your buttons over here. Yeah, discharge, charge. We go back in the parameter settings. It annoys you with this password all the time. And I say discharging disconnect. I tap the update button. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Success. You cannot see any difference here, but if you go back into your dashboard, you can see it is off now. Not that you can turn it on again or something. No, no, no. You have to go back into the parameter settings first. Type in the super secret password. Go all the way down. And then you have to click on the discharge suction. Discharge suction. I have no idea. This is turning it off. And this one is turning it on. You sure? Yes. Successful setup. This means turn off charging, turn on charging, turn off discharging, turn on discharging. Super weird. Factory reset. It sets all the parameters back to factory default. And a device restart, which I found quite interesting, that they have a restart function here for the BMS, because usually you have to disconnect all the balance leads from your BMS to actually turn it off and then plug everything back in. But here we've got a soft button to do it via the software. So that's a very good feature, I think. On the other hand, when do you have to restart your BMS? Yeah, and this is basically everything in the parameter settings, and this is the whole app for the HELTEC Smart BMS. Yeah, I thought I'd go through the app with you because this is something we haven't seen before. This is a completely different app. As you have seen in one of the previous videos, the amps measuring, I hope only in this BMS here, is about 20% off. I have contacted HELTEC about this, haven't heard back from them yet. So I'll let you know what's going on with this, because I cannot see any calibration function in the app here. So hopefully we can fix this somehow. Otherwise all these numbers here are quite useless. Yeah guys, so far this little experience sharing here with the HELTEC Smart BMS. So at the moment, top priority, recharge this whole battery bank, the battery 2.0, and have a look at the BMSs, how they balance, how good they balance, can they actually balance, because the HELTEC Smart BMS has only 120 milliamp of, this is not going to work, you know, this is not going to work. We know that from our experience with the QUCC BMS with 200 milliamps, not working. And also the overkill solar BMS here at the top, 150 milliamps or something, balance current, it will struggle. This is a 304 ampere hour 16S battery here. In the middle we've got the JK-BMS with a 2 amp active balancer. No trouble at all, keeps the battery in balance once it's fully charged. And for me it is quite important to actually balance all the battery cells if the battery is fully charged, because I rarely fully charge my battery here. I kept it between 30 and 50% state of charge. Yeah, in summertime maybe I recharge the battery a little bit more often, but I will also use a lot more energy in summertime, because then the air conditioner is running inside the house, the pool pump is running full speed, and the freezer and fridge, of course, to keep my beer cold. Once we are fully charging the battery, I will share more information how these 3 different BMSs actually handle these high capacity battery cells. Are they able to deliver? Can they keep these batteries under control? Well, we will see hopefully in 2 days. In 2 days, hopefully. So, yeah, it could be in 2 days. Probably reach the 80% tomorrow, 79, 80%. And then the day after it will be like 93, 94, 95 if we are lucky. Anyway, I definitely keep you posted what is going on here in the off-grid garage with all these BMSs and all these battery banks. What a crazy monster setup here. So far my experience sharing with the HELTEC Smart BMS, so far I cannot really say anything positive or negative about the BMS so far. It has some really weird features, like the current is actually positive when it should be negative and the other way around. And also this current is about 20% off to what we can actually measure. And the app functionality is not quite as intuitive as I wanted to, because these are actually no buttons here. Sometimes you can click on icons and something happens. Well, this is not populating. And some other buttons are just for displaying. Parameters are very few only in the app, which is good for beginners. But if you want to do a little bit more, a little bit of fine tuning with your BMS, you may missing some of the features you are used to. But overall, this dashboard here gives you all the information you need. So I'm quite happy with the overall layout of the app so far. Because for $219, you almost get the JK-BMS as well, which is outstanding, and the jack of all trades so far. So not sure why you would choose the Heltec BMS here, but if you have, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what are the outstanding features of this BMS, which I haven't discovered yet. So I hope in one of the next videos we are fully charging the battery then, and I can share more information about this BMS, the HELTEC Smart BMS, and also the other two BMSs, how they actually work together or against each other, we will see. And until then, guys, thank you so much for watching here. Thank you for all your support here on the channel. You are amazing. So stay charged and safe, and thank you for watching again. See you then. Bye bye.